Hey, welcome to this week's Client Attraction Clinic. Listen, this is the place where we challenge conventional thinking, we cut through the noise, and have real conversations about business, money, marketing, and what it actually takes to build a business with impact. So if you're tired of surface level advice, recycled talking points, and the same worn out scripts everybody else is repeating, you're in the right place. Now, my goal here is simple: to help you think more clearly, make better decisions, and see opportunities other people miss so that you can begin to attract clients instead of chasing them down. So, whether you're here to grow your business, strengthen your financial future, or just start asking better questions, I'm glad you're here. With that, let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about why real estate gets a whole lot easier when you stop chasing random tactics and start building your business around five core principles. And I want to start with this: real estate is not that complicated. Agents make it complicated. Now, I know that might sound a little too simple, especially if you're in a tough market, your pipeline feels thin, or you're trying to figure out where your next deal's coming from. But stay with me for a minute. The business itself is pretty simple to understand. You need people to know you exist. You need those people to understand why they should trust you. You need a clear reason for them to work with you. You need a process to turn those conversations into appointments. And you need a process to turn appointments into clients. And then you need a system to create repeat business and referrals. That's really the business. But what actually happens? Agents start chasing everything. They're chasing the newest social media trend, the newest lead source, the newest CRM, the newest script, the newest funnel, the newest ad strategy, or whatever some trainer or influencer was working this week. And after a while, their business becomes a bunch of just disconnected activity. They're doing a little social media, a few open houses, some paid leads, maybe an email here and there, maybe a few videos when they feel inspired, and maybe they have a CRM somewhere with a bunch of names in it. But none of it's really connected. There's no clear strategy, no real system, no machine being built. And then they wonder why their income feels inconsistent. See, that's not a business problem because they're not working hard enough. In most cases, they're working hard on the wrong things, or they're working without a structure that ties everything together. Now, that's what I want to talk about today, because random activity creates random results. So instead of chasing every shiny object, I just want to bring this back to the fundamentals. There are just five core principles that every serious real estate business needs to master. The first is lead generation. The second is lead conversion. The third is listing expertise. The fourth is personal branding. And fifth is a referral network. That's it. Now, I'm not saying those five things are always easy. I'm saying they're simple. And there's a difference between simple and easy. Easy means it doesn't take much effort. Simple means it's not confusing once you understand what actually matters. And in real estate, most agents aren't struggling because they don't know enough tactics. They're struggling because they haven't mastered the things that actually matter. So let's talk about those. Most agents believe they have a lead problem. You've heard it here before. Maybe you've even said it yourself. I just need more leads, better leads, seller leads, buyer leads, Zillow leads, Facebook leads, Google leads. I just need more people to talk to. And listen, I'm not saying leads don't matter. They absolutely matter, because you need conversions, because you need conversations, you need opportunities, you need people entering your world. But here's the problem: more leads won't fix a broken business. Let me say that again. More leads will not fix a broken business. So if your conversion process is weak, more leads just gives you more people you can't convert. If your brand is weak, it just gives you more people, more opportunities to find another agent. If your follow-up is weak, more leads just disappear into your CRM. If your offer is weak, more leads don't respond. If your listing presentation is weak, more appointments just become more missed opportunities. So before you assume that you have a lead problem, I want you to ask a better question. What's actually broken? Because you might not have a lead problem. You might have a conversion problem. You might have a branding problem. You might have a listing presentation problem. You might have a follow-up problem. You might have a referral problem. Or you might have a business model problem. And that matters, because if you diagnose the wrong problem, you'll chase the wrong solution. That's why agents can spend more money on leads and still not grow. See, they think the answer is more people at the top of the funnel. But if the rest of the funnel is broken, all they've done is pour more leads into a leaking bucket. So let's go through the five principles one at a time. The first is lead generation. Now, when most agents hear lead generation, they immediately think of buying leads. And listen, I get it. That's how the industry talks about lead generation most of the time. Facebook leads, Google leads, Zillow leads, portal leads, seller leads, buyer leads. But lead generation is much bigger than buying leads. Lead generation is every system you use to create qualified conversations. That could be online advertising, database marketing, open houses, direct mail, circle prospecting, or referral partners. It could be educational content that you create. It could be a niche campaign for seniors, divorce, probate, investors, move up buyers, or homeowners with a very specific problem to solve. Point is this: lead generation is not one tactic. It's the system you use to create visibility, interest, and conversations. And here's where agents go wrong. They treat lead generation like a slot machine. They simply put money in and hope something comes out. And that's not how a real business operator thinks. A business operator asks better questions. You're going to want to write these down. Who am I trying to reach? What problem do they have? Why would they pay attention? What message would matter to them? What offer would make them respond? What happens after they respond? How do I follow up? How do I turn that conversation into an appointment? How do I know if the money I'm spending is profitable? See, that's how you think if you're a business owner, not where can I get the cheapest leads? That's by far and away the worst question. The better question is where can I create qualified conversations at a profitable cost? There's a huge difference. Cheap leads can be very expensive if they never convert, and more expensive leads can be profitable if they turn into closings, referrals, and long term relationships. So, principle number one is lead generation. You need people entering your world. But that leads us to the second principle, which is lead conversion, because leads by themselves simply don't pay you. Conversations don't pay you. Appointments don't even pay you. Clients pay you. Closings pay you. And referrals from happy clients pays you again and again. So lead conversion is where the actual money is made. And this is where a lot of agents struggle. They're so focused on getting more leads that they never slow down and ask the real conversion question. Why would this person choose me? Not why would they choose a real estate agent? Not why would they choose someone for my brokerage? Why would they choose me? That's the question. And if your answer is because I work hard, that's simply not enough. If your answer is because I care, that's not enough either. If your answer is because I know the market, still not enough. See, those things are expected. Nobody hires a professional hoping they don't work hard, don't care, and don't know anything. That's the minimum. Conversion improves when you become more than a commodity. It improves when you have a clear process. It improves when you solve a specific problem. It improves when you can communicate value in a way that the client actually understands. It improves when the conversation is about their outcome, not your resume. Huge mistake. Think about how most agents follow up with leads. It usually sounds something like, are you still looking? Are you still thinking about selling or buying? Do you want me to send you some homes? It's not terrible, but it's also not very compelling. And stop asking yes or no questions. A better conversion strategy gives people a reason to engage. For a seller, that might mean helping them understand how to protect their equity, how to prepare their home, how to create buyer competition, how to compare selling options, or how to avoid leaving money on the table. For a buyer, maybe it's helping them understand payment strategies, cash flow, affordability, debt, or how to buy smarter instead of just buying whatever they qualify for. When you become a problem solver, conversion gets easier. When you're just another agent checking in, conversion is far more difficult. So ask yourself honestly, do you have a lead conversion process or you just have a reminder to call people back? Those are not the same thing. A real conversion process includes your message, your offer, your follow up, your questions, your appointment path, your presentation, and your next step. Without all of those, you don't really have conversion. You have improvisation, and improvisation is not a business model. Now, the third principle is building a career around listings. And this is a big one because listings create leverage. Buyers are important, buyer clients matter, but listings are how you create scale. A listing gives you market presence, it gives you visibility, it creates buyer conversation, creates more seller conversation, it gives you content, it gives you proof. It gives you a reason to talk to the neighborhood. It gives you a reason to run ads, send direct mail, hold open house, and position yourself as the agent creating activity in the market. That's why listings are so powerful. A buyer transaction is usually one client. A listing can become an entire campaign. And that's the mindset shift that you need. The average agent thinks, oh, I got a listing. Great. I hope I sell it. The business minded agent thinks, I got a listing. Now, how do I use that to create more opportunities? That's a completely different way to think. But listing expertise is not just getting listings, it's knowing how to serve sellers at a high level. It's understanding pricing and marketing and positioning and negotiation, seller psychology, buyer demand, and how to create competition. It's knowing how to walk into a listing appointment with a clear process, not just a nice personality. And it's understanding that a listing presentation should not be all about you. It should be about the seller's goals, the market, your strategy, your process, your timeline, your proof, and how you're going to help them get the result they want. That's listing expertise. And here's the truth. If you want a bigger business at some point, you have to get better at listings. You don't have to abandon buyers overnight. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you do need to build the listing side of your business intentionally because listings create the leverage that most agents are missing. The fourth principle, personal branding. Now, when I say branding, I'm not talking about your logo. I'm not talking about your colors. I'm not talking about your headshot. And I'm not talking about whether your Instagram feed looks pretty. Those things can matter, but they're not the real brand. Your brand is what people believe you can do for them. That's it. Your brand answers the question, why should someone hire you? And maybe even more importantly, why should somebody even remember you? See, most agents are not known for anything specific. They're just known as an agent. And that's a problem. Because if you're just another agent, totally replaceable. You're competing on relationship, convenience, personality, or commission. But when you become known for a specific result, a specific process, a specific client, or a problem you solve, now you're building a brand. Maybe you're known for helping sellers protect their equity. Maybe you're known for creating buyer competition or helping seniors downsize or helping homeowners sell before they buy. Maybe you help investors analyze their options. Maybe you're known for a unique listing process. The exact positioning can be different for every agent, but the principle is the same. You need to be known for something. If someone in your database thinks about selling, do they think about you? If someone thinks about listings, are they thinking about you? If someone has a real estate question, do they see you as a resource? If someone has a friend who needs help, are you the obvious person to refer? That's branding. It's not your colors, it's not your logo, and it's not your picture. Branding is not what you say once, it's what you consistently communicate until the market starts believing it. That's why your content matters. That's why your emails matter. That's why your videos matter. That's why your follow-up matters. That's why the client experience matters. Every touch point is either strengthening your brand or weakening it. And when your brand gets stronger, your marketing becomes easier because people already have a reason to pay attention. Now, the fifth principle is referral networks, and this might be the most overlooked one of all. Most agents want referrals. Most agents say referrals are their best business. Are they right? See, referral business is usually warmer, easier, and more profitable. But most agents don't have a referral system. They have a referral hope, and they hope their past clients remember them. They hope their friends mention them. They hope someone tags them in a Facebook post. They hope another agent sends them something. But hope is not a referral strategy. A serious business has a plan. Now, a referral network can include a lot of people. It could be your past clients, friends, local business owners, financial professionals, attorneys, lenders, insurance agents, contractors, senior service providers, divorce professionals, probate attorneys, relocation contacts, and agents in other markets. But don't get lost in that list. The point is not to know everybody. The point is to build relationships with the right people and become referable. And that's the key. You can't just show up and ask people for referrals. You have to become referable. That means people need to understand what you do, who you help, what problems you solve, why you're different, and how to introduce you. See, if people don't understand your value, they won't refer you consistently. And if you don't stay visible, they won't remember to refer you consistently. So referrals require two things: value and visibility. You need to be valuable enough that people feel good referring you, and you need to be visible enough that they remember you when the opportunity comes up. That's why referral networks are not just about asking, they're about giving. They're about relationship reciprocity, about being a resource. They're about helping other people win. And when you do that consistently, referral networks can be one of the most stable parts of your business. So let's recap. Those are the five principles: lead generation, lead conversion, listing expertise, personal branding, referral networks. Now, here's where this gets practical. I want you to score yourself in each category from 1 to 10 and be honest. Don't score yourself based on what you wish you were. Score yourself based on what your business actually shows you. For lead generation, ask yourself this: do I have consistent sources of qualified conversations, or am I always scrambling to find someone to talk to? For lead conversion, ask this: do I have a real process to turn interest into appointments and appointments into clients, or am I just winging it? For listing expertise, ask yourself this: do I actually have a listing process and presentation that creates seller confidence, or do I rely too much on personality and hoping they just like me? For personal branding, ask this: am I known for something specific, or am I just another agent in the market? For referral networks, ask, do I have people consistently sending me opportunities, or am I just hoping referrals are going to happen? Now, after you score each area, look at the lowest score, because there's a very good chance that's where your next level is hiding. If your lead generation is weak, that may be why you don't have enough conversations. If your conversion is weak, that may be why you need too many leads to close too few deals. If your listing expertise is weak, that may be why you're not taking enough listings. If your personal brand is weak, that may be why most people don't think of you first. And if your referral network is weak, that may be why your business feels like it starts over every month. Your next level is usually not hidden. It's usually sitting inside the weakest part of your business. And that's good news, because once you identify the weak spot, you can stop guessing. You can stop chasing random tactics. You can stop acting like everything is broken. Sometimes everything's not broken. Sometimes one principle is holding the entire business back. And once you fix that one principle, the rest of the business starts to work easier. When lead generation gets stronger, you have more conversations. When conversion gets stronger, you need fewer leads to close to get more business. When listing expertise gets stronger, you're creating more leverage. When your brand gets stronger, people just trust you faster. And when your referral network gets stronger, your business becomes less dependent on cold traffic and paid leads. But when all five work together, that's when the business changes. You become easier to find, easier to trust, easier to refer, easier to hire. And that's the whole goal, isn't it? You don't want to be the agent who has to convince every person from scratch. You want your business to create trust before the appointment. You want your content, your process, your referrals, your database, your listings, and your brand all working together. That's when the business gets simpler. Again, not always easy, but simpler. Because now you're no longer asking, hey, what random thing should I do today? You're asking, which of the five principles am I improving today? See, that's a much better question. So here's your action step for this week. Score your business from 1 to 10 in each of the five core principles: lead generation, lead conversion, listing expertise, personal branding, referral networks. Identify your lowest score. That's where you focus. Not forever, just first, because you don't need to fix everything at once. You need to fix the thing that's creating the biggest constraint. And if you want to take this even deeper, download the free guide, The 15-Hour Client Attraction Method. It'll help you start building a lead generation and follow-up process that turns more interest into appointments without relying on improvisation and hope. Best of all, it can be done in less than 15 hours every week. And that's where smarter growth begins. Now, you can download it at www.15hourmethod.com. That's 15hourmethod.com. So remember this: real estate gets simpler when you stop chasing every shiny object and start mastering the five principles that actually drive the business. When you do that, your next level is not hidden. It's sitting inside the weakest of these five business principles. Find it, fix it, and you'll start building a business that's easier to understand, easier to control, and much easier to scale. So with that, I'll sign off for the week. Go out and start building your machine. And we'll talk next week.